Nike is the world's largest sportswear brand. This year, the company is on a mission to get its stride back. This week, the company posting its first earnings under new CEO Elliott Hill.
Nike beating on the top and bottom lines, but its sales fell 8%.
Analysts say it's the beginning of a long turnaround for the company, after what should have been an Olympic gold earnings summer. Nike shocked the market.
Shares of Nike are in free fall after they missed on revenue last night and cut their full-year earnings guidance. The shares, down 20%, are on pace for their worst day ever.
Nike just posted yet another quarter of falling sales, and now they're scrambling. The swoosh that once ran the entire sportswear game is watching rivals take bites out of its market, while the numbers keep sliding. Coco Gauff, the 21-year-old tennis phenom with a Grand Slam win and millions of young fans, has suddenly become their most important asset. Now, Nike is banking on her to help clean up a mess they made. Quick question, when was the last time you actually bought something from Nike? Drop it in the comments, because clearly a lot of people stopped showing up. Nike is in trouble, real trouble. The kind that sends executives into panic meetings, asking how they lost control of a market they once owned outright. Sales haven't dipped once, they've been sliding for multiple quarters straight. And the brand that once defined athletic greatness is now starting to look desperate.
Good balance, because I'm curious, what drew you to them specifically?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm always transparent with this conversation. I wanted to be a Nike person at first, and they love this when I say this now, because that was like the thing, when you're younger and in tennis, like every top junior was with Nike. But for me, what drew them to me was the uniqueness of it, and that, they saw the long-term plan when it came to me as a person on and off the court, and they were willing to support things that I wanted to pursue off court, which for me was really important. And I think I always say I wanted to not be known as a tennis player. I want to be known outside of that. And they really allowed me to do that and make that impact, and allowing me to do things like with Miu Miu, and allowing me to do things with other things that we've done, allowing me to have my own signature shoe before I even won a slam, which is very uncommon. So I think for me, they were just supportive of that from the beginning, and I'm glad I made that decision. That's for sure, I would say, the best decision that I ever made.
Enter Coco Gauff, 21 years old, already holding 2 Grand Slam titles, including the US Open in 2023 and the French Open in 2024. Formerly the #1 ranked doubles player at one point, and more importantly for Nike's agenda, she has the kind of cultural pull that actually gets people to buy. Young, gifted, magnetic, and real in a way that speaks directly to the exact audience Nike is losing fast. Nike signed Coco when she was just 15, right after she stunned Venus Williams at Wimbledon and became a household name overnight. At the time, it looked like Nike was gambling on potential. Fast forward 7 years, and that entire dynamic has flipped. Now, Nike needs Coco way more than Coco needs Nike. So let's really talk about what's going on with Nike's business. They've posted declining sales quarter after quarter. Their stock hasn't just dipped, it's been hit hard. Meanwhile, brands like On Running, Hoka, and even New Balance are grabbing market share that Nike once owned without a fight. And the company Michael Jordan helped turn into a cultural giant is now fighting just to stay relevant.
Authenticity do you strive for when you're working with a sponsor? Because I know, like, in the past you work with Barilla, you're a big pasta eater, I am too. That's like a no-brainer there.
Yeah.
It fits your life. I know not every deal can be like that, but kind of to what extent are you looking at it like that?
Yeah, I would say pretty much most of them, if not all of them, are all something that I was doing prior to my life. And then it's just, doing it with this brand, or I was already doing it with that brand, and is now I get to capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
One recent one is Naked. I was already drinking their smoothies, and I was already doing fruit and things like that. So it's like now I get to always capitalize and also share with other people something on a much broader scale, which is pretty cool. Or like Bose, I was been walking with earphones on the court since you guys first saw me. So like now I get to have my custom headphones and be able to get a brand to customize them to my outfit and share that with other people.
Part of Nike's issue is simple. They got comfortable. They sat on top for so long that real innovation quietly stopped. Prices kept going up while the quality either stayed flat or slipped. They leaned hard into limited drops and hype culture that mostly helped resellers, not everyday people who just wanted shoes to wear. In the process, they pushed away their core audience by choosing exclusivity over accessibility. And now listen, they're paying for it, literally. Revenue is down, margins are tighter, and the cultural cool they once owned isn't hitting the same anymore. The younger generation that should have been Nike's future is spending money with brands that feel more real, more creative, and more in sync with their values. That's exactly where Coco Gauff becomes mission critical for Nike's strategy. She checks every box they're missing right now. She's young enough to connect with Gen Z buyers who are walking away from Nike fast. She's accomplished enough that her cosign actually means something, and she comes across as authentic in a way that feels real, not manufactured.
Things like that I think with all my brands, I try to make sure that it's something that I do and use, and I have had opportunities that I've turned down because I just knew it wasn't authentic to me, even if it's something as silly. I don't want to put any brand on the spot, so I'm not going to say, but silly things that for sure I could have just sat there and put my face on it and no one would ever know. But I'm just like, I know that's not what I do, and I'd rather not do something that I know I don't really use because I feel like it's not fair to my audience.
Coco's story hits different because it's actually real. Her dad watched Serena Williams win the Australian Open when Coco was about 5 or 6, went out and bought her a pink tennis racket and had her hitting balls against the garage. Both of her parents were athletes. Her father played college basketball. Her mother competed in track and field and gymnastics. They understood what it really took to develop an elite-level athlete. So they made the decision to move from Atlanta to Florida so Coco could train at better facilities. They went from a 2-income household to 0 income just to support her tennis dream. They moved in with her grandparents to cut costs. Her mom gave up her teaching career to homeschool Coco full-time. And her dad, who didn't grow up playing tennis and barely knew the sport, taught himself everything he needed so he could coach her. That's the kind of background story that actually connects with people. It's not polished, staged, or built by a marketing team. It's real sacrifice, a real grind, and a real family commitment to helping one person chase a dream. So when Coco beat Venus Williams at Wimbledon at just 15 years old, it wasn't just a shock win. It felt like a passing of the torch moment. Venus and Serena were literally her idols growing up. She even worked as a body double for a young Serena in a commercial when she was around 10 or 11. Meeting Serena felt like meeting royalty to her. She still talks about how wild it is that she now has Serena's phone number and actually gets texts from her. That Williams sisters connection matters for Nike because so much of their tennis legacy was built on Venus and Serena. Now they're looking at Coco to carry that torch into the next era. The problem is, the market today is nothing like it was when Venus and Serena were dominating. Nike can't just rely on old school ads and athlete endorsements anymore. Consumers are sharper now, more skeptical, and way more conscious of value. They want authenticity. They want to feel like the brands they support actually reflect what they believe in, and they want products that justify the premium prices being charged. Coco brings the authenticity part naturally. She doesn't feel manufactured or fake. When she talks about her journey, her setbacks, and her goals, it lands because it's real. She lost in the French Open final before coming back to win it in 2024, and she openly said she refused to let that loss define her at that tournament. She won the US Open after a painful finals loss at the French Open earlier in her career, and she talked publicly about how that defeat taught her the lessons she needed. She also plays doubles, even though most top singles players avoid it. She does it because Venus and Serena played doubles and won 14 Grand Slam titles together. Coco basically said if the best did it, why wouldn't she? That mindset connects with young athletes trying to find their own path. But here's Nike's real issue. Having Coco Gauff as a brand ambassador only matters if Nike actually delivers products and experiences that match her authenticity. If they're just slapping her face on overpriced shoes that aren't better than the competition, it's not going to work. Gen Z will see through that instantly. And honestly, Nike's desperation shows in how they're pushing this collaboration with Coco. They need more content from her, more visibility, more presence. They want her at launches, in campaigns, driving buzz online. They need her to be the face of Nike tennis in a way that actually moves product and reshapes the conversation around the brand. The timing here is wild. Coco just turned 21, right at that sweet spot where she's proven herself but still has massive room to grow. She recently said she feels far from her full potential, noticing that most players hit their peak around 25 or 26. So she figures in 4 years she'll be exactly where she wants to be. That mindset? Perfect for Nike. She's not at her peak yet, which means her biggest moments are still ahead, and Nike can ride that entire growth curve if they play it right. But here's the catch. Coco has options now that she didn't have when she signed with Nike at 15. She's proven herself on the biggest stages, won Grand Slams, and beaten the top players. If Nike doesn't treat her with respect, compensate her properly, or give her the platform she deserves, she could walk away once her contract ends. And that thought terrifies Nike. Losing Coco to a competitor right now would be catastrophic. It would send a public message that even their most valuable young athletes don't want to be part of the brand anymore. It would speed up the exodus of young consumers who are already questioning whether Nike is still the top athletic brand. Nike has seen this play out before. They watched Under Armour rise and fall. They've seen newer brands like Lululemon dominate specific demographics. In today's sportswear world, you're only relevant if consumers believe you are, and that belief can vanish fast. Coco is Nike's best shot at staying relevant with the next generation. She's the kind of athlete who can bridge the gap between Nike's legacy and its future, if Nike actually listens to what makes her valuable instead of exploiting her image for short-term sales. The challenge? Coco is smart, really smart. She plays tennis for herself, not for hype or outside pressure. She's learned that early career struggles teach you more than external validation ever could. Winning a Grand Slam doesn't magically change who you are. You wake up the next day the same person. That self-awareness at 21 means Nike can't just steamroller with marketing tactics. She expects genuine partnership, actual input on campaigns and products, not scripted appearances. Nike's desperation shows in how they're handling their other athlete deals. They've lost top-tier talent to competitors lately, proving their once unshakable grip on endorsements is slipping. If Coco left Nike, it would devastate not only their tennis division, but their brand image overall. It would signal that even dream athletes no longer see Nike as the go-to. That perception shift accelerates decline. It doesn't reverse it. Nike is begging, well, not literally, but they're approaching Coco and her team with urgency that didn't exist 5 years ago. They need her more than she needs them, and both sides know it. The big question is what Coco does with that leverage. Does she demand better pay, creative control, real partnership, and input into products? Does she push Nike to be more authentic, innovative, and aligned with the values her generation cares about? Or does she decide that Nike's decline is too far gone, that hitching her rising star to a sinking ship isn't smart, and look for brands that are climbing instead? Nike is hoping she chooses the first. They want her to see Nike as a legacy worth investing in, worth helping to rebuild. They're banking on her connection to the Williams sisters and Nike's history in tennis, creating loyalty strong enough to override business logic. But loyalty is rare in sports today. Athletes see too many examples of brands dropping people once they're no longer convenient. They know companies abandon partnerships that don't produce immediate ROI. That breeds reciprocal loyalty. Athletes prioritize themselves first. Coco has seen real sacrifice in action. Her parents went from 2 incomes to 0, lived with grandparents to save money, gave up careers, and learned tennis from scratch to coach her. That kind of upbringing gives her perspective. She understands the value of security and smart business decisions. Nike has to offer more than money to keep her long-term. They need vision,
partnership and genuine collaboration. They have to make her feel like she's helping build something real, not just plugging a hole in a self-inflicted problem. The desperation is real. The panic is setting in. Nike spent decades being untouchable, and now they're fighting to stay relevant. Coco Gauff represents one of their best chances to reverse the slide, but whether she wants to be part of that or align with rising brands instead is still unknown. Nike went from industry titan to a company that desperately needs a 21-year-old tennis star to save their brand. Coco holds the leverage now, and Nike is hoping she uses it to help rather than walking away. If you found this breakdown interesting, hit like and subscribe for more straight-up sports business analysis, because when the swoosh is begging, you know the game has changed.